Hi everyone, today I want to make a YouTube video comparing these two bikes and how much speed and power you can get out of these two. So this is going to be the classic recumbent versus upright. So for my upright bike, I have a Cannondale Super 6 Evo Di2. And in case you don't know what Di2 is, it means it has electronic shifting. I will not be using the time trial bars on here for this test, but they're just going to stay on there. But they're not going to be used in this test. I'm going to keep my hands on the hoods. That way I can monitor my speed from my GPS right here. The GPS I'll be using will be the Garmin Edge 1000, measuring the power with the Garmin Vector 3S, dual-sided pedals, power meter pedals. And we will see, I want to average about 160 watts and see how fast each one of these goes. I'm going to keep them pretty much unmodified how I normally use them. I usually have a bike light on the front here. I usually don't have time trial bars on this one, but I mean, it's probably more aero that way. But we'll see what kind of speed and power comparisons we get. Again, I'm going to try to do 160 watts each on a controlled course. And we got a little bit of crosswind today, maybe 5 miles an hour. But it shouldn't affect us where we're going because we're going to be, wind should be blocked by a building for the most part. For the purposes of this test, I filled the front and rear tire of the upright bike to 100 psi, and all three of these tires to 100 psi. This trike is running 3 Schwalbe 1 tires. They're not the Pro ones, so they're not tubeless. And on this one, I got the Continental GP 5000 tires, and these should have better rolling resistance, or less rolling resistance than the Schwalbe 1 tires that are on the trike. So if anything, this bike may beat it out in rolling resistance, but the main purpose of this test is to compare the aerodynamic efficiency between the two bikes. Well, let's get started. Hey everyone, so this is going to be the course. It's pretty flat. I'm going to start out here every time. This is going slightly down the hill right now. We're going to do it coming uphill as well. And I will have the power and speed displayed on the video. Let's get started. Get it down to 160. Downhill, turn around, do an uphill. Very slight uphill, it's not steep. underpowered on that run. So now we're just going to do a free ride downhill, see how fast we can go. Hey guys, this is going to be the upright bike run going under 200 watts. I'm going to try to keep it under 200. Rough, I'd like to keep it around 160, but usually I put out a lot of watts on this bike. So this bike does or may have an aerodynamic advantage due to the wheels being carbon fiber wheels with a dish on them. So I did recalibrate the power meters before we did this, but let's get to it. Alright, that's the first power run with the road bike. I'll turn around and go back uphill. When we get up here, we're going to turn around and go back down. Alright, we're going to turn around and go back uphill. gonna do it one more time. Alright, then we're just gonna do one uphill. Hey everyone, so this one is to test the rolling resistance of just going downhill on the Recumbent Trike. Start out at the same spot as I would on the road bike. I'm going to ride straight down, not going to pedal at all, just going to give it a little push to get it rolling and just put my feet up. There we go. And again, I'm not going to use the brake, I'm just going to let it coast until it stops. Until we get to about 2 miles an hour and I'll stop it, because that's about as slow as I'll be able to go on the road bike. Alright, we're going to do a second downhill run. Back up there. Okay, this will be the downhill roll on the Recumbent Trike. Second descent. Now let's go let go of the brakes. Can't do that on a regular bike. But on this thing, you can just go from a dead stop and just let off the brakes and not worry about falling over. Again, this is a very slight downhill. We're going to do a steeper one to really show the difference. And again, we're going to stop around 2 miles per hour. And that's about 2 right there. Turn around and do it one more time. And we'll do a steep descent. Downhill roll on our Recumbent Trike number 3. Letting off the brakes. And again, just like the last 2 times, gonna stop it around 2 miles per hour. Yeah, right about there. All right, next one we're gonna do is we're gonna do a steeper descent, which will actually be turning into this place. So we're gonna compare that to this. Okay, now we're just gonna do the rolling downhill to see the rolling resistance. And just like on the Recumbent Trike, on the upright bike, we're gonna stop when we get to around 2 miles an hour. Seems like we might actually go farther on this thing. Like I said, you only got 2 wheels instead of 3 slowing you down. And that's 2. Turn around and do it again. Now, of course, on this bike, you can really put power to the pedals if you want to. Okay, second run, rolling resistance. Right about there is 2 miles an hour. Turn around, do it one more time. Now we're gonna do a steep down. Third rolling resistance test. I did push off a little bit that time. Bunch of geese over there. Slowing down. Not hitting the brakes. Coming to 2 miles an hour. And that would be the rolling resistance on the slight hill. We're gonna go do the steep one now. Alright, so here we're gonna do the same test. This hill's a little steeper, and we're just gonna let off the brakes and let it coast down. Here we go. You have to get in the road here, there's no shoulders. And again, when we get down to about 2 miles an hour, we're going to stop and turn around. Still going. Slowing down. We're at about there's 2 miles an hour. Go back and do it again. Like I said before, this thing's a little slow going uphill. Alright, right about where that Chevy hubcap is, that's where we're going to start. Alright, 3, 2, 1, let go of the brakes. And again, we have to get in the road because there's no shoulders. Thinking about Recumbent Trikes, people usually give you enough room. You know, also people give you more room when they pass on this thing, on the Recumbent Trike, because most people think it's a wheelchair. But like I said before, it's not. Just waiting for it to hit 2 miles an hour. Then we're gonna hit the brakes, and we're only gonna do 2 of those. Just save some memory on the camera and save the battery. Takes a little longer to get back up that hill. Right about there, it's 2 miles an hour. Alright, we're gonna go get the upright bike and do a side-by-side. Hey everyone, this is going to be the steeper downhill rolling resistance test. It's also to test air drag, aerodynamics. So this is on the upright bike. Let's get to it. I have to push off a little bit with the upright. Otherwise I just topple over. So let's see how fast this thing goes. Just sitting on the hoods. Well, I can tell you already, this bike seems to slow down faster than the Recumbent Trike does. But you will see that when I turn around and do that climb, I'll be able to do it a lot faster and put a lot more power to the pedals. Of course, on the Recumbent Trike, I wasn't really trying to put power to the pedals. I just kind of do it comfortably, so. But I enjoy seeing the high power numbers I can output on this road bike. Just because you can just stand up and just slam it home. And really nothing's going to stop you because most of it goes directly through the drivetrain. It's all carbon fiber and not much is lost in the chain. On the Recumbent Trike, it has a very long chain. It also goes through nylon tubing, so you're losing some of your wattage there. How it drives through the nylon tubing, which act as guides for the chain. So we're gonna let this thing slow down at about 2 miles an hour, and then we'll stop, turn tail, and go back up, come back down, and that'll be it. I only did 2 downhill runs in the Recumbent, so. And right about theirs too. Alright, let's turn around and go back up. Another thing about the upright bike is you can actually lean into stuff. Trike, you can't really lean because you're on through wheels, so what we did with the Recumbent Trike, that Chevy hubcap is. Get turned around, and we're just gonna coast. There we go. Now, as you probably saw, I could put out a lot more power down to the pedals going uphill in this thing, but also makes it a lot more tired out. And again, we have to use the shoulder. We have to use the road because there's no shoulder. You see how close that car passed me? Usually they don't pass that close on a Recumbent Trike. Of course, this asshole's gonna park it illegally. Disrupting our science experiment. Gonna wait till it slows down to about 2 miles an hour and then we'll stop it, and that'll conclude this little test. Sorry, the last one we kind of got blocked by that semi. Happens a lot. They like to stop and pee and stuff in the middle of the road around here because we're right off the interstate. And right about there is 2 miles an hour. Alright, that's it. So guys, what did we learn from this experiment? I'll tell you what I learned. But first, let me give you some of the specs. So the Recumbent Trike came in at 41.6 pounds. A bit heavier than what I thought it was. My road bike came in at about 16.9 pounds. Again, it's a couple of pounds heavier than I thought it was. But overall, the Recumbent Trike did better going down hills with no pedaling. It was about 1 to 2 mile an hour faster. Especially with a steep downhill, it was about 1 mile an hour faster. On the 160 watt test, the road bike actually won this one. We were able to go faster with less power output. So, kind of confusing numbers there. But on the Recumbent, we did an average 132 watts with a 14.8 mile per hour average, with the highest power being 368 watts with 148 normalized power. The road bike, we did an average 128 watts, which is about 4 watts less than what we did on Recumbent, but we were able to go 15.3 miles per hour average, which is a bit higher than what we were able to do on the Recumbent Trike. The high power on the road bike that we did on the 160 watt test was 355 watts with 144 normalized power. For those of you who don't know what normalized power is what the computer thinks your power would have been if everything was smooth. So it's different than your average power. It's pretty much where your power would be if you're consistent the whole time. So, but a couple things I do want to point out that make this thing a winner in my eyes is that this thing did carry speed longer. If you watch the clips on there, this thing was actually going about 1 mile per hour faster, longer than the road bike did going down hills. Another thing I want to point out is it wasn't that much slower. It was maybe 1 mile an hour slower than the road bike, but given the difference in wattage, let's just call it 2 miles per hour slower than you can do on a road bike at the same wattage. But for 2 miles an hour, I think it's worth the comfort of being in a seat that you can ride in all day and don't have to worry about your shoulders getting sore or your neck getting sore from looking up all the time. You just put your head back on this headrest and just lay back and enjoy the ride. Not to mention you can carry all the weight you want on that rack there. But in my opinion, I believe some of the wattage was lost in these nylon sleeves here. These sleeves guide the chain along the frame of the bike so you don't get any scraping. And of course we have this little idler wheel here too, so that keeps the chain in line. And the chain does drag through there, so we are definitely getting some drag in this drivetrain, so we're losing watts there. I honestly thought this thing was going to win in the aerodynamic category. At least I was always told these were more aerodynamic because they're lower to the ground, you're in a reclined position, but apparently that's not true, because we proved it today. Just being in an upright bike, I was able to go faster with less wattage on a slight decline and an incline as well, because we did down and up at slight decline, at slight hill that we did, and then we also went up the same steep hill that we did, and you can see the numbers on the screen for yourselves. That it just speaks for itself. So all those people out there who are saying that a regular recumbent trike is more aerodynamic than a regular road bike, I would like to see their results, because I did not get those results in my trike, and I didn't really do anything to modify it or anything. So put down in the comments below what you thought was going to win and which one's your favorite. I'll also be doing a video in the future to compare these two bikes to a velomobile. And the velomobile is supposed to be faster because it has a fairing around it. It's supposed to make it a lot more aerodynamic, but it's all hearsay. We'll see what it is when we get it. Thanks for watching.